Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot, and welcome to a soulmate snapshot. So, in today's soulmate snapshot, we are going to look at the question, should I unblock my person? This question has come to me in the past week several times, where you, in some cases, have made a decision to block this person so that you could go off, do some healing, and now it's a question of, wait, is this the right thing to do? Should I be unblocking this person? There may be more complications to it, but generally speaking, what you're asking, what I've gotten so many times here is, should I unblock this person? Should I allow things to flow? So that's what we're going to be looking at when we get into this one. It'll be a general reading, as always, general reading for this collective. So if it resonates with you, think about maybe subscribing, or about even maybe checking into, think about some of the other videos, because they're all very much connected. Let's see, I think I will use this as my main deck. And so we know soulmate snapshots can be pretty quick, but I'm just going to give it however much time it takes to get to the answer that we're looking for. So it might be 10 minutes, might be 30 minutes. We'll see what happens. We're going to start by getting the general energy and kind of that emotional and energetic backdrop. So this is what's happening between you right now. Let's see. And we have the Nine of Swords and the Five of Wands. So the Nine of Swords is around anxiety. The Five of Wands is around, the word that wants to come out is suffering, in addition to struggle. So there's something here that hurts. It may be an emotional suffering more than a physical one, but there's some kind of suffering going on here. And it feels like long suffering, or not willing to say what needs to be said. And we've seen a lot of that. Long suffering, not willing to say what needs to be said, high anxiety, and a tendency toward overthinking. Okay, here we have keeping things looking good on the outside, and generally wanting to come back toward something that makes them feel better. So even though there's a significant amount of suffering for this person, and possibly for you as association with, or in association with this relationship, there is something about the two of you that just keeps you coming back. And what it kind of comes down to is, you reduce each other's pain. So you may cause a lot of pain for one another, but you also reduce each other's pain in certain ways. And this is around that ancient pain that we sometimes see come out in these readings. Ancient pain that comes from way back when, far before this person came into your life, or before you came into theirs. Both of you have some of that, and you help to ease each other's pain, but it is not without cost. And that's where some of that anxiety comes in. And yet there's this ability to kind of make things, you may not talk to very many people about this. This is maybe a topic that you kind of glaze over or don't talk about at all. It may be something that a couple of you, I think, have mentioned. You go to a therapist and you don't even really give that therapist a full view of what's going on in you with regard to this relationship. Definitely there's some element of that going on, not necessarily just with a therapist, but with regard to not giving the full picture. And that's going to be true really for both of you. But you do give each other some degree of happiness, and yet there's that struggle, that long suffering. A lot of emotion between the two of you, and a great amount of love that seems like it needs to move from the energetic into the physical, but it's having a hard time doing so. And I think that's how some of these people are ending up blocked, because it's like you've suffered for a long time and you're done. I definitely get that sense. And I get that sense from the cards, but I also get the sense from you. We have the Six of Cups here that says, even with that, there's still a lot of nostalgia, still a lot wrapped up in that. So we've got the Six of Cups and the Devil, and then we've got the Six of Pentacles here. That's as far as we want to go. Coming out here. So with the Six of Cups, it's about memory. It's about really being able to say, I remember something. There's something about this where the memories between you and this person are part of what's driving the behaviors. But so is this Devil energy. And oops, I just dropped some cards. Hang on just a second. Okay, got them all in there. Yes, so there's memory that kind of crops up and makes it very difficult for you to move through the day without them coming into your mind and vice versa. But there's also with this devil card, something is kind of exerting some control over both of you. So it's like you couldn't get away even if you tried, but it's not an equal give and take sort of situation. Again, a good portion of the reason as to why several of you may have determined you're going to block this person. Or it's not always just blocking this person, like blocking them on social media or in whatever context. It's more a matter of blocking this person's energy. So some of you are saying, I'm just not going to tolerate this person's energy and I'm pushing them out. When I feel like they are getting emotionally or energetically too close to me, I'm just getting rid of them because they bring pain, you know. And this has happened for some time, and there's a tendency to just kind of be done with it and walk away. It's that emotional lack of equality and the emotional give and take, though, that really kind of seals the deal and makes it very challenging. So we've got the Two of Wands coming out here in the reverse. And here I'm going to take this sweater off. The Two of Wands in the reverse is all about not being able to meet in the middle on something. So it's a matter of needing to, sometimes the Two of Wands is about travel. In this case, it's traveling an emotional distance. And what we see here is that the two of you are unable to find a common ground somewhere. The treatment between the two of you is not equal. We see that with the Six of Pentacles. It's not an equal give and take of energy. And I get that you're just not going to tolerate that anymore, and that there needs to be some new boundaries set. That's where blocking of the energy, or even blocking in a social media situation or however, is starting to happen. Then we have this Five of Wands, where it's a desire to kind of want to take that path that it's not necessarily a path of least resistance. That's what I wanted to say, but it's not the right words. It's more of a path of lesser resistance, and one that allows you to kind of be able to move emotionally a little bit more freely, but yet you're bound by an emotional partnership or bond. So this is the Two of Cups. And it feels like an emotional bond that, once again, neither of you is truly able to escape. And it gets really frustrating. So there may be some mutual blocking going on here. And it may be even you having made the decision to block energetically as a result of this person having blocked you first, and you saying, you know what, that's fine, let me go ahead and seal the deal. There's so much pain there with the lack of energetic equality and equality in that give and take, that it's a matter of saying, I'm not going to let you hurt me anymore. You know, it's kind of that sort of feeling. And it's about leaving room for healing. And my question is, how well is that going to work? Because it feels like this healing has to be able to breathe and work through all of this. But with the way that this Four of Swords is coming out, it feels a little bit like there's an element of the healing that can't really happen because of the blocking. Interesting. So that comes out fairly early in the reading. It is the blockage between the two of you is stopping you from being able to address some of your fears and do some of your healing. We see that coming out here with the Strength card as well. I am reminded of when one of you had mentioned to me, and you know, I get a lot of notes from you guys, which, as I said, I will continue to read, but you will see fewer responses because my job just got bigger and I don't want to quit doing the moonlighting thing. I'm going to keep reading cards, but it means that I have to devote a little bit less time to some portion of it. And I thought maybe that's about the only place that I could think that I was going to start. I didn't want to pull the personal readings out until I have to. So for now they stay. But one of the things that we see here in the communications is there's a lot of fear that that manifests. That I feel like with the Strength card, though, you can't get a full handle on the fear or the ability to get around it while you are stopping yourself. And that's part of why, or while you're blocking some of the emotion. And that's part of why this person said, blocking my person blocks me. So it's blocking them from some of the growth that they need to do. And I feel that very much in this energy here. So I feel like the answer to the question is kind of already starting to come out, that yes, you could unblock this person. it potentially increases your ability to heal yourself. However, what else do we need to know about this? So if you're unblocking them, whether it's literally or figuratively, some of you are more on the energetic level rather than actually having blocked anyone on, social media or anything like that. But what else do you need to know about it? So blocking my person blocks me. That really comes out for me here. Okay, it's blocking them will continue to block you. I was supposed to keep this one. Okay. So I see that it's just really saying again that blocking this person is creating a blockage for you. So it keeps you from finding your happiness, keeps you from being able to truly move forward in all of the things that you need to do, and keeps your energy quelled in a way that is not especially healthy. But with the Hanged Man here, it's about a perspective that needs to come to you and an openness in healing that needs to come to you that has a hard time happening with that blockage in place. So it's not so much that this person should just be allowed to come in and do whatever they want. It's more a matter of ensuring that you're still able to do your growth, and that's not really happening with the blockage in place. There's a new perspective that wants to come out for you, but at this point it has a hard time doing so. Let's see what else wants to come out with this. Okay, we have the Empress card. You're moving in a direction that actually gives you tremendous healing and tremendous growth. With this Four of Swords in particular, it really wants to come out. That healing is on your path, but you have a hard time accessing it when you're blocking the energy, whether it's around this person or around yourself. And what really comes out here is moving to this new perspective through forgiveness. And it's interesting because forgiveness is not necessarily just being okay with whatever they've done and again letting them run roughshod over you. It's more a matter of accepting the person for who they are at the time that they're doing whatever it is that they're doing. So this shows up in my mantras as I meditate every day. My second mantra, and about that. So I have like 6 or 7 mantras, depending on how you look at it. My second one is around forgiveness. And it is not about being okay with what a person has done, whether it's you or someone else. It's about accepting yourself or that person for who you or they are at the time that you do whatever you do. And it's a rolling sort of forgiveness, because people change as a result of their actions and their environments, and the actions that they take, they still may require forgiveness for. However, it's acceptance more than being okay with whatever has happened. So that's coming out pretty strongly here. But that forgiveness, that tendency to be able to forgive is really being blocked, in addition to this person's energy being blocked. Because whether they're being blocked literally or figuratively, that is what is happening. Knight of Wands says that there's a need to be able to move forward with something relatively passionately and relatively decisive, powerful forward movement. But the Seven of Swords over here is telling us that there is, you're not making the decision to block this person's energy for no reason. Clearly, they've given you a reason to, that they need to be forgiven. Like there's a reason for that blocking. You are not doing this. It's more a matter of self-defense than anything else. But unfortunately, it looks like you're getting in your own way by blocking this person, and the result of that is kind of blocking yourself, which we saw over here. But it's kind of getting in your way, and you're not going to be able to get around it until you're able to unblock that energy and kind of move through it. There are multiple ways with the Seven of Cups for you to move through it, but at this point, those can feel pretty clouded and pretty unclear. There's a need for you to kind of separate yourself from this, and that will create a bit of it's more of a shielding than a blockage, so that the things that have bothered you about this person no longer have any power over you, more than they lack access to you. But you are also being encouraged not to to reach out to this person. So if you're blocking their energy and you reach out, it will not be a very useful conversation. But with this, it is suggesting that it could be almost detrimental for you to reach out in this context, at least until you are able to get through some of that self-forgiveness and maybe even forgiveness of them. But there is so much going on here with regard to kind of the friction between the two of you, and I guess it's friction in the energy that is the whole reason that you will have decided to wash your hands of this and say, I'm just not going to participate in this anymore. Unfortunately, some portion of that is cutting off your ability to heal. So you've got to kind of open that back up, practice the forgiveness. That sounds far simpler than it feels, and it takes some time, but that is kind of what's coming out here. But in the meantime, don't reach out to them to solve the problem that you're working to solve, because this one is going to be much more internal than anything else. With the Page of Pentacles here, it is about encouraging you to be very open to the lessons as they want to come, but recognize they're not necessarily going to be easy or clear lessons. So you might want to start keeping a journal of these things, write them down, and then later be able to refer back and say, oh, you know what? I get this now. I had a little bit of an epiphany earlier, didn't know what it meant. Now I do. So that's going to be part of what helps you to move forward. And that is honestly where we're going to go with the next question is, well, what should you be doing? Being open to the healing is going to be part of it, but it means unblocking yourself in addition to which happens partially as a result of unblocking this person. So I am brought back to that recommendation that you've often gotten to leave the door open, but don't watch the door to see if they're going to walk through it. So if they do walk through it, it's a matter of now you have the opportunity to just sort of address that as it happens, but not to have expectations or assumptions about the way that's going to happen, because having expectations honestly may limit your outcome somewhat. Just dropped some more cards. So I sat there and I put away that Ace of Wands because I thought it wasn't going to be part of the reading. And as I was doing it, I almost said to you guys, I'm going to put this away because I don't think this is part of it. And I know it'll come out if it needs to. Here it is again. This is about behavior that cuts off your own nose to spite your face, essentially. So it's basically saying unblocking this person will help to open up your healing. It will help to unblock your own flow of energy, which is really what needs to happen here, but it's not necessarily intuitive. It might seem like when you unblock them, all of a sudden it's going to open you up to a world of hurt, but it actually opens you up to a world of truth. And so we see that with the Ace of Swords. The Eight of Swords in the reverse, though, that comes out along with it is probably a little bit of a surprise. And this is the part that is less intuitive. So you might think that it opens you up to greater overthinking when you release the overall situation. But when you do that, you actually do release it, and you're able to say whatever needs to happen is allowed to happen. I'm opening myself up to the truth. I'm not getting in my own way. Essentially, that's what needs to happen here with regard to this person. But blocking them isn't going to get you there. So blocking feels a little bit like it creates negativity for both of you. So if you are one of those people who it's fairly definitive. If you have contacted me to say, should I unblock this person? The answer is yes, unblock them, but don't mention it. Don't say that you've unblocked them. Don't say, oh, you know what? All right, I'm opening up the pathways. Just open it up and let them figure it out. And if they come back and have communications with you, then that is something that you would address after the fact, but allow the magic to work on you first, allow you to work your own magic essentially, and to let the healing begin. But you're also recommended to get in and do a little bit of healing for yourself. So that comes in the form of meditation, whether it's, and for those of you, I mentioned my meditation earlier and my mantras. For those of you who are relatively new here and aren't sure about meditation, aren't sure about how you might do that, or you haven't figured out how to get started, I did a video last October that might help you out. So if you get into the bonus videos, it just kind of talks through what meditation is and a couple of resources and a quick way to to just kind of jump in. And then, of course, you can go wherever you need to go from there. Then over the summer, I did another one that talked about those mantras. So if you're interested in checking those out, because they come up in the readings fairly often. So we've got the the Eight of Pentacles here. Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. So this is about figuring out the pieces and being very honest with yourself about what pieces work in your psyche and which pieces do not work as well. With the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse, it's about figuring out where you lack emotional self-mastery and where you may be able to add some for yourself. Let's see what just popped out. Oh, well, we've got the Five of Cups, but we've got it in the reverse, which is honestly the way that I like to see it. Five of Cups in the upright is all about focusing on those cups that have fallen down. And that's essentially the things that are making you feel sad, shameful, unpleasant, otherwise sad, and, you know, just anything that is kind of nagging at you, drawing at you. There's the positivity behind this bunny who is focusing on the negative, and oftentimes that's what you see. You'll see the being in the card focusing on something that's negative, where the opportunity for transformation still exists, but they're not focused there. But what you're getting is this card in the reverse. The way that it's coming across is the ability to focus on both things, to be able to say, yes, here's some things that I'm not so thrilled about, but here are those opportunities for transformation and change, and they don't negate one another. They coexist, you know, they live peacefully together. It's not a quick process to be able to unblock things for yourself, but part of that process would be unblocking this person. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't still shield against some of the things that that impact you. So blocking and shielding are not the same thing. In this context, blocking would be saying your energy's not coming through. We're not having that at all. Shielding is more a matter of protection if that energy is starting to come through, and just saying, here are some pieces of myself that I'm going to allow to heal. And it's like putting a Band-Aid over it to say you can't get through to the piece that's looking to heal. You may need to do a little bit of shielding in that context, like in that by that definition, because I think both of these words have multiple meanings, and I don't want to get too confusing about it. So I'm not saying don't protect yourself at all, but what I am saying is don't do so at your own detriment or to your own detriment. So let's get into advice for you and where you might think about focusing, because I think this Page of Pentacles has encouraged you to really be open to learning, open to seeing what's new and out there for you. This is about, this is the Six of Pentacles, and it's about give and take. It's about that give and take that we see over here is not equal in this context of this relationship. And this is you not accepting anything less. So a lot of the time when you're blocking somebody, it's because you feel like you're being given less and you're not okay with it. You don't have to be okay with it. So when I say, maybe it makes sense to unblock this person, I am not saying that it makes sense to take nonsense from them or to take less than your worth from them. In fact, you're being encouraged to, it's a matter of, instead of demanding respect, commanding it. And I just dropped a whole bunch of cards, and none of them are going to be part of the reading. They all fell face down. So the difference between demanding and commanding respect is that when you demand respect, it's a lot less productive. When you command it, it just it happens as a result of the way you carry yourself. This is the latter. So the Moon card in the reverse, if you are able to unblock and just sort of allow things to begin to flow, you're going to notice that mysteries start to unfold for you and things get a little bit more, they get easier to understand. Pieces that have frustrated you about your own healing will start to materialize, unfold, and it really happens partially with that forgiveness as it starts to come out. But this is something that would happen even more quickly, because I think the forgiveness feels like it takes time. It will take many meditations to get through forgiveness, but it does not take very long for the mysteries to start coming out. And you're moving toward a balance. It doesn't take very long for you to get to a place where you start to feel that balance happening as well. So with the Temperance card, that is not a day-to-day simple balance. This is big picture balance. The Temperance card really talks about kind of a balance that you build over the course of time and across many portions or all portions of your life. It's not something that just looks like balance from the outside. In fact, you could be going through something that looks very much like imbalance from the outside, but on the inside you feel pretty good about things. Okay, Three of Cups. So there is, in many cases for you, a need to change things up socially a little bit. Changing things up socially a little bit may mean getting off of social media for a little while. It may mean communicating with people in a different context. So if you've got a group that you tend to run with, maybe meeting somebody new. If it's, I don't know why, but I'm getting this sense that like at work or in sort of some sort of setting where it's like work or a volunteer setting. Some people don't have formal jobs. Some people are retired and they do volunteer work. I have all sorts of people on this channel. This does not necessarily mean at your job, but it's the thing that wants to come out. It's some sort of construct. It's a societal construct. You're encouraged to reach out in new directions, and there's going to be something there for you. So listening to something you wouldn't normally listen to, and maybe for some of you that's tarot videos, but it also encourages you to do something a little bit social, and that it allows you to connect with different people. It's going to bring you some opportunities, and we know that there are opportunities coming your way. We also know this is one of the ways that you may get to those. Let's see, and once again, I didn't think that card was supposed to be part of the reading, but if it's supposed to come out, I know that I can trust that it will. That's one of the things that I love about this. I generally am able to tell which cards feel like they're supposed to be out and part of the reading, and when I see one and I second guess it, I just pop it right back in there, and if it needs to come out, it does. So, Seven of Wands. This is about confidence in yourself. It's about believing in what you have to offer the situation, and about jumping in even when you don't have the full picture. Even as these mysteries are starting to kind of unravel, this is a very personal energy. And in fact, all of this is very personal. Even though it involves social behavior, it's about how you handle that social behavior. And it has everything to do with the impact of forgiveness and of leaving that door open to allow your person or whomever to walk through it. Because honestly, if you're blocking, that blocking energy is keeping other opportunities out as well. Let's see here. So we also have the Fool card. There is going to be an opportunity for you to jump into something new, which we've seen this coming out in previous readings, and we've seen it actually quite a lot because there are multiple opportunities. Here's one that, as I think we saw in yesterday's reading, I think you're going to want to jump into this one. It's not super clear where it takes you, but it is clear that it's going to help to open up your horizons. You may have a little bit of resistance to this because it kind of takes away some of what it's the unknown, you know, and sometimes you're like, I'm tired. I don't necessarily want to move into the unknown. You're being encouraged to really consider it anyway. There may just be a lot of good in there for you on that. And then with the Queen of Wands here, it's about, this is that sense of getting out of your own way. It's getting out of your own way, but it's allowing yourself to utilize the strength that, it's like pent up strength that for some reason that you've not been allowing yourself to make usage of. Page of Wands. You may notice that you have a tendency to not just be resistant to change like this Tower here, but also that you're almost cutting yourself off from it. That's that tendency to block. It's blocking energy, but it's being trained upon yourself. So here's an example, I guess, of a place where that blocking sort of, it's almost like an attitude of blocking and keeping things away from you, but that is going to, once again, keep you from being able to have other opportunities at your disposal. So with this Page of Wands, you know, it feels like something to watch out for. And the Ten of Pentacles here is kind of, and Ace of Pentacles are kind of an honorable mention when they talk about, if they're supposed to come out again, they will, but I feel like they're honorable mention, and it's about making decisions about your life and your household, but these are decisions that would hold you back. All right. Let's see what else wants to come out for this. So we have a fairly definitive answer here, but there's still a lot of interesting things that you could be focused on. Right now, it may feel like you're in a little bit of a delay, like there's not a clear path to get to the place that you want to be. But part of that is not being open to it or not allowing yourself to be sufficiently open to it. And like what we saw with this Page of Pentacles, this feels like honestly the loudest, most important energy that's come out in this entire reading feels like this Page of Pentacles. And it feels very much like you've got to open yourself up to the possibilities. And to what could happen for you, but it also means opening yourself up to the possibilities, even with this person, even though it seems like those possibilities are no longer an option. There's change coming for you, but it's going to mean getting rid of something that currently exists and moving more in a direction of something that it still has to develop. So with the Death card, something ends and something new grows in its place, but it takes some time for that thing to grow in its place. So what we see here is a matter of that trust that it's going to happen and the willingness to allow that to develop. That it takes faith, honestly. And what we see here with the Star card is not necessarily a ton of faith because you've been hurt. There's a lot that's made you maybe shrink back from what the opportunities are. This is a matter of really training yourself to open up to the possibilities and the potential. So that's what wanted to come out in this soulmate snapshot for you today. I'm not going to do an extended on this one because I don't typically do extended readings on the soulmate snapshots. But I did feel like that's the question that we needed to get into today because I've seen this so many times and I was like, something's just nagging at me about this. And what it is, it's not just unblocking this person, it's unblocking your entire experience. So whether it is that you've blocked them on social media or you have said, I've had enough and I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna start doing my healing now and I'm not gonna let any of this in. The act of blocking it energetically is actually stopping it's part of what's getting in the way of your healing or getting in the way of it happening very quickly. So there are some things for you to consider. Now, tomorrow we're getting into look at December. So we'll look at December from a soulmate's perspective and we'll see what comes out for that. I look forward to seeing you there.